Rings, the second follow-up to the horror film The Ring, came out earlier this month. And so I wanted to share with you the urban legend that inspired the original film. This is the story of the cursed videotape. So 3 high school girlfriends were having a sleepover and decided that they wanted to rent a horror film. This is back in the day when you actually had to leave your house, go to a physical store, pick out the tape you wanted, and return it in 3 days. But when they got to the store, it was already closed. But just as they were about to leave empty-handed, they noticed a small little hole-in-the-wall store that none of them had noticed before. They decided to go in. So the girls are browsing through the shelves, but they can't come to an agreement on what to rent. So they go to the counter and decide to ask the lady working there, "Do you have any horror movies you could recommend us?" "I have just the thing," she said, and she went into the back room to get it. That's when one of the girls noticed a tape on the counter. There was no label, no box, and it was a little bit dirty. Curious, she picked it up. The woman came running back and snatched it out of her hand. "That's not something you girls should be watching," she said. "Why? What's on it?" "It's just a home movie. Now let me go get you something that I know you will enjoy." After they checked out, the girls went home. That's when one of the girls pulled the videotape out of her purse. "We have to watch it. Aren't you curious to see what's on it?" Once she convinced the other girls, she went to play the tape. And just as she placed it into the VCR, the power went out, except for the TV. On the screen was a woman, tied to a stake and engulfed in flames. She was surrounded by people yelling, "Burn the witch! Burn the witch!" Then the woman spoke. "All who witness my death will meet the same fate in 3 days." The tape started sputtering and the TV went black. The girls were terrified, sitting in the darkness, wondering what the hell they just saw. "We need to return this video now." They got into their car and drove back to the store, but when they got there, it was gone. There was no video store, just a boarded up old building. Do you think it's real? Do you think we're really gonna die in 3 days? None of the girls showed up at school the next day. They didn't leave their beds. They didn't get any sleep that night. The girls hadn't eaten or slept in the past 48 hours. One of them called the others up. "This is ridiculous. Come over to my house tonight. We're going to destroy this videotape." All 3 of the girls were found dead, charred to a crisp. While investigating their mysterious deaths, police found a trash can outside of one of the girls' houses. It was smoking and looked like the contents had been lit on fire recently. When they looked inside, all they saw was a pile of ashes and the videotape. It's kind of funny to think how people were scared of VHS tapes, especially since nobody watches them anymore. But then again, in a way, you did watch the tape. I showed it to you. If I were you, I'd be careful this Friday.